Welcome back, weebs and gamers. This is AG here, back with some more deck profiles. Today I'm going to be doing it on Cardcaptor Sakura. The new set just came out in Japanese, the anniversary set, and I absolutely love Cardcaptor Sakura. It's one of my favorite animes of all time, and I own the old sets as well, the first English set and the first Japanese set. So when this new one came out, of course I had to get it. I'm just testing out. I've tested out a whole bunch of different builds. The set, honestly, isn't very good. I'm just going to straight up say it. It's not very good. But I love it still, and I wanted to at least do a deck profile on, for sure, one deck. I might do one on the green deck. I'm not sure. The green deck is kind of all over the place. But yeah, for sure, I wanted to do at least one on this deck. And this is the blue-yellow deck. So we'll just get right into it here. So first, I'm playing 4 copies of this runner. So I see most lists that I've seen play 4 copies of the red sort of aqua card, I guess is what you would call it, from Hololive, which is the when it's sent to waiting room, you can pay 1, clock 1, and reveal the top 2 cards of your deck and add them to your hand if they're characters, or in this case, you can also add events from Sakura's version. But I found that card was just, after playing with Hololive, like I play Hololive as well, I love Hololive, and after playing with the sort of Hololive Aqua cards for, a good portion of 2 years now, and then having to play a much worse version of it, it just made me feel like it wasn't a very good card. It wasn't a good fit for the deck. Like, there's just so many things about it that make it worse. The fact that it can't go to 3,500. The fact that it goes to bottom deck randomly for some reason after you use the effect. I don't know why. That's so bad for, like, just random reason. And then the fact that it doesn't clock from waiting room. It clocks randomly from the top of your deck. So there's just so many things about it that make me want to not play it. So I decided, but of course I wanted to still have like some sort of good going first turn play. And I think this runner is probably one of the best ones you could play. And so yeah, it's just if you have 2 or less stock, it becomes 3,500 and it can run in front of stuff. So yeah, just a generic good card. Next we have 4 copies of the Tomoyo Brainstorm. So this card is probably the most broken card in the set, to be honest. I mean, its price tag demands that it would be, because it's like $20 each. And so yeah, so this card is just a normal salvage Brainstorm, and then it also has the effect of all events become colorless. So you only play 2 different colors, the blue and yellow ones in this build. But yeah, so they become colorless, and then also when you do play an event, you can free level swap afterwards. So that's very helpful, because for this deck, by the end game, you need all 3 different events in your level zone to be able to do your finisher effects. Either you play the yellow one or the blue one, they both still require it. I think even the red one as well. The only one that doesn't is the green level 3. That one doesn't require any events in level zone. But pretty much everything else, every other one does. So yeah, so super amazing card. It is pretty much your main back row for most of the game. But as you'll see, you are sort of forced to play at least another back row that's not, or that is a Sakura card, because all your events, all the cloud cards and the card events require you to have a Sakura in play. So if you don't, well, they're dead cards. So next we have 3 copies of the I don't know what you call this, event Risei. So it's basically when it comes into play, you can check the top 3 cards of your deck, and if there's an event, you can add to your hand and discard a card. Of course, if you don't hit an event, it's just basically just like a free mill 3 card, which I like. And then it actually has a very useful secondary effect, which is when it comes into play, you can choose one of your opponent's characters, and that character cannot move until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's very good for like countering opposing runners at level 0. It's good for locking down cards in your opponent's back row. Like if they stand by something to the back row, you can just lock it there. Or if your opponent's like down on cards, you could like lock one of their back rows so they can't just push it up on you next turn. kind of thing. So yeah, so that card, that effect is one of those effects where it's a very good effect, but it's not so good of an effect that I would go out of my way to play it usually. Like if it was just like on by itself or on something else, then I probably wouldn't play it. But the fact that it's already on a good card anyway, and it basically just gives your card 2 good effects, is extremely helpful. And yeah, allows you to win the level 0 game against some stuff that you might not be able to. So next we have 3 copies of this. This is sort of a unique card. It's kind of like a twist on the Rico sort of card, where it's like discard a card and salvage. But this one is when it's sent to waiting room, you discard a card and mill 2, and then salvage equal to their level. So pretty cool, because you can just like trigger on your own turn if you want to, but just by overplaying it. And of course, you could just have it on your opponent's turn. And it does get 2k on your turn, so it does become 3k beater on your turn, which is kind of nice. So yeah, I love this card. I think it's it adds to the deck's mill capability a lot. So I do find this deck has really good mill potential with the events and the level 0 and brainstorms and stuff. So next we have 2 copies of this green Sakura. So you don't play any green. This is pretty much the only card. But this card is kind of cool, where it's a clock bomb, so you can just out random things with it at level 0 if you need to. But it's also a level 0s in front gain 1000. So the level 1 combo, as you'll see in a second here, it is the Akiho, and Akiho's sort of gimmick is that she always becomes level 0 while on stage. Even her level 3s, even in the other sets, she always had this effect. She always just becomes like minus level to level 0 on stage. So this is basically just a 1000 boost to not only your level 0s, but also to your level 1 main climax combo. So that's pretty cool. And it does give you a Sakura back row, which is very much needed, so that you can play your events properly. And a cool thing with this too is that you could, like, say, like, if your opponent does have a runner or something, you could lock it down so it can't move with the other card, and then play this and bomb it. So that's a cool interaction you can do. And then last but not least, for level 0s is just 2 copies of this Toya Climax Swap. So just, you know, basically just vanilla Climax Swap. I'm very sad that this is the only Climax Swap in the entire set. So you're basically forced to just play this one. But he does have a secondary effect, which is you can just pump someone 1k at the beginning of climax phase, which isn't terrible, I suppose. But I still would have liked some variety on being able to have different climax swaps if I wanted to, kind of thing, or for different colors or that kind of thing. So then moving on to level 1. So now we have 4 copies of the main level 1 combo. So this is the Akiho combo. So there's a few different combos you can play in Sakura. There's the yellow one, which is just checked up for at any character. There's the red one, which is like on reverse. You can like mill and salvage. But I feel this one is the best one because it is the only one that has consistent power over turn. So it's just because it's just a 1055. And then if you have like the green Sakura, it's a 1065, or if you have the global 5, it's just 106k. Whereas all the other combos are like 2500 or 3k, or like extremely weak on your opponent's turn, and that just bugs me. I just don't like playing combos when they're like that weak on the opponent's turn, because like they could just field like zeros and potentially just kill them, which is like really feels bad if that happens to you. So I'd rather play this Akiho. Now, the trade-off, of course, is that this Akiho, again, is level 0, so if they do have just, like, level 0 bombs, they can just bomb her, which is kind of annoying, but, you know, I think I'd rather take the actual having decent power, with maybe slightly getting bombed to just being, like, 2500 on your opponent's turn. It's just, like, it's just so bad. Oh yeah, for its combo, I suppose I should say that, is, it's just, with pants, just on attack, check top 3, and take a character, but if you reveal an event, you can take a character and the event, and then discard a card instead. So it's either just, check 3, add 1, or check 3, add 2, and ditch 1, which is kind of nice. Allows you to get the events to hand, very consistently, and, you know, goes with pants, which is probably, like, my favorite, climax in the game, so you can't go wrong there. And then next we have 2 copies of this Sakura back row. So this card is notable for a few reasons. One, it gives your level 3 specifically an extra 1500 and hand on core if it's in the center. So there's that. It's also just a 500 in front, always. And then it's also a just rest it, and you can look at the top card of your deck and either leave it there or put it on bottom deck. So the cool thing about this card is that it basically turns your Brainstorm into a Brainstorm 5 every turn. So if you just rest this, reveal the top. If it's not a climax, you can put it on bottom and then Brainstorm and then mill 4 more. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then it also notably has a soul trigger, which is very important in this deck because this deck, because you're forced to play so many events, you actually don't have that many soul triggers in your deck. Like on average, you probably have like 10, which is fine if you're only playing 4 choice. Which is why I really don't like 8 choice as well, because you just don't have enough soul triggers to support 8 choice in this deck. Like you just don't, and there's no room at all for you to fit in more, pretty much. So this card being a 1/0 with a soul trigger is nice. I wish one of the climax combos had a soul trigger. Sadly, none of them do, which is weird because other sets that have been printed before this do. Like for instance, Ari Fueta has a soul trigger. So I don't know. It's just weird, but it is what it is. So. This card I really like, definitely needed to be played, and also it's a Sakura back row, so it allows you to play your events, no problem. So this next card is actually just like a proxy, because I was thinking about playing this card actually in general. This is like a cost 0 bomb, but then they revealed the promo. So there's gonna be a Sakura promo coming out in May, which is extremely good, and I'm just going to be replacing these 2 cards with 2 copies of that card when it comes out in May. So the promo effect is it's a 1/0 yellow, same as this card, and it can be played even without color, so which is very good, because sometimes if you get stuck at like say 1/0 with blue, then if you had a yellow card you wouldn't be able to play it, but you could just play it without color. And it's come and play, discard a card, and salvage an event. Or it might be a specific one of the Sakura events. I can't remember. But yeah, basically allows you to get the events from Waiting Room very easily. And it also has a soul trigger as well. So that is super good. Gives you those slightly extra soul triggers that you would need to make your deck feel more comfortable with triggering choice. So you're not going to whiff half the time. And yeah, so I'll just be replacing these 2 cards with that promo once I'm able to get it in May. And then we have just two counters. So this card is just there to help protect your Akiho, and it is blue, so you can just play it to stage if you need to. And it's a counter 500 times your stage. So if you're missing a lane, then it just becomes like a normal 1/2k counter, 1/0 2k counter. But if you do have full stage, it's just a 1/0 25 counter, which is kind of nice. I get another super stupid thing is that this set has 0/1/1 counters with a soul trigger. If it did, it'd be so much better because it would give you more soul triggers, and it would probably give you a better effect than being sort of like a vanilla, like it might be like a Leafa counter or whatever else, right? So I really hope they make some more promos actually, and I would really like a 1/1 counter for this deck specifically that would have a soul trigger. That would be a huge help, especially too because you could just get it with choice if you happen to trigger choice. Then we'll just do the events. So we have 3 copies of the blue event. So this is just a like a torch event. So you just check for add 1, but the difference is that this one is slightly power creeped. Or sorry, it power creeps the old one slightly because this one allows you to get events with it as well, which is extremely helpful in a deck where you play like 8 to 10 events, right? So yeah, so very, very good card. Most people do play 4 actually, but I think once the promo comes out, you won't really need to play 4 as much because you'll be able to just like ditch salvage it from Waiting Room much easier. So yeah, so I think without the promo I would play 4, but with the promo I think I'm just gonna play 3 basically. So then moving on to the next ones, we have 3 copies of Windy. So this card is amazing, but also pisses me off at the same time. So it is just a salvage a character, and then if you have a event in level zone, you can blind stock from the top of your deck. So it basically just refunds its stock cost. But the reason it pisses me off is because it's Windy and it doesn't bounce a card. Like, why? Why? you should have just given it like a secondary effect to where you could just like, I don't know, pay to bounce a character or something on the field. Like, give it something that involves bouncing. So I just really didn't like how they didn't like flavor it that much, and it's sort of just like a generic good card. But oh well, I can't fix Bushi's design mistakes for themselves, right? So then, and the last event is just 2 copies of the light card here. So this card is this card has 2 effects. So this one is you can either level down one of your opponent's characters, or you can just draw a card. So it's good for different scenarios, but usually you just kind of play it for just putting it in your level zone, and then you don't really need it after that. To be honest, if the set didn't require you to have 3 different events in your level zone, I would probably not even play this card and just play 4 and 4 of the other 2 events, because the other 2 events are way better than this card. But it is nice to just have it as like an option to just like, you know, if you want to just like level down something, if they have some sort of huge wall or, you know, whatever, right? So it's there. And then, so actually I don't play any level 2s. So I was testing the Bodyguard card for a while. The blue Bodyguard. It's like a 2-1 with Bodyguard that's like 12-5. But I just found like even that was just outed so many times that I just like, and plus if your opponent like early plays their stuff, like say they're playing like Kanata and Hololive or like any sort of like really good early play package, like that thing is not living. Like it's just not. Like there's no way it's gonna help at all. So it's extremely matchup dependent, I find, and I just don't like playing cards like that. And because I'm not playing that, I'm not playing any level 2 counter, because this deck basically has like no level 2 game. You kind of just want to like recycle your level 1 climax combo as much as possible and just like farm and just survive until you get to level 3 pretty much, and then just wombo combo, drop 3 level 3s and hopefully kill them. Yeah, but to be fair, the set does have actually some pretty good level 2 counters. It has a refresh counter, it has a memory kick counter, and it has a sack a character to anti early play counter as well. So it definitely has a very good suite of level 2 counters. It's just the problem that it has no good level 2 game, so you can't really utilize it very well. So yeah, I'm just not playing any. If I was going to though, I'd probably just play one copy of the refresh counter, because it is nice to get that off choice sometimes. So we'll just move to level 3. So level 3 is just 2 copies of the Karo. So he's just a early play if you have 4 more characters in play, and he's just so he has 2 effects. One is just normal heal, and then secondary effect is like a troll effect, which is you can heal as many cards as you want in your clock, and then take that much damage from the top of your deck. And the notable thing is that the damage that you take is able to be cancelled. So say you have, you know, like 5 cards left in deck, and you have like 3 climaxes in there. You could, in theory, just play this and like heal your entire clock. Like if you had like 4 or 5 or 6 damage or something like that, you can just heal your entire clock, and then knowing that you're gonna cancel like 3 of the damage, so it essentially becomes like a heal 3 at that point, which is kind of funny if you manage to pull it off. But if you are just like 2-1, 2-2, like low level, level 2, you should probably just heal. Like you don't really need to go for a wombo combo at that point. So yeah, but I really like this Karo. It's just nice, easy early play, just 4 or more early play. So yeah. And then finally, just 4 copies of the Sakura level 3. So this card is pretty amazing actually. So it's basically sort of like a Marine, I guess. It doesn't refund its stock cost, but it's just come and play heal, and then on attack, pay 1, ditch 1, burn 2. But if you have all 3 different named events in your level zone, then you can also, after that, shuffle back 3 cards from your opponent's waiting room into their deck. So it just allows you to like really put your opponent in like bad scenarios where they're probably just gonna like eat a shit ton of damage. So especially if they have like, you know, if they don't have much left in deck, it's just over at that point. It's just GG. So yeah, just absolute amazing card. I was testing the blue level 3 for quite a while, but I found that there was just certain points where like that card just felt extremely bad. Like if you got hit to level 3 first and your opponent was like low level 2, like the game was pretty much just over at that point. Like because not only did it not heal, so maybe try to keep you in the game, but there's like just pretty much no way you're gonna kill your opponent from that low level with that card. Like, it's not Gura. You know, you're not gonna pull some crazy thing out of your ass. So yeah, it was just like basically GG at that point. So this card being able to heal, it's just like a consistent good finisher. Yeah, it's just better. And then finally, it's just the climaxes. So we have 4 copies of the pants and 4 copies of the choice. And that's it. So that's it, guys. If you liked the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I do have some more deck profiles coming on the way. It is not... I'm probably not going to do Sakura, I think. Maybe I will. Maybe I haven't decided. But I do have a special deck profile coming up, which is I have another max rarity deck. And then also I'll be having my new Hololive decks soon. Once I get all my summer collection and the ambassador set cards in, I'll be doing probably at least a couple more deck profiles on those, just to like sort of update my old decks and maybe do a new one. So yeah, if you guys like the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and this is EIJI'S signing out.